on Wrighster or wrong. Let me get the Periscope feed up and we are ready to go. Okay, almost ready. Okay, so here we go. Thank you guys for joining me today on Wrighster or Wrong. Unafraid. Please like the feed, share the feed. If you're on YouTube, Periscope, wherever you're watching at, Facebook, wherever you're watching at, please like it, please share it. And if you're on Periscope, hit them little hearts. So we have a couple really good things up today that I think are really good, at least. And the first of which is that it's interesting that LeBron is a sympathetic character, right? That he needs our sympathy. You know, he's unhappy with what the Cavs are doing. Also, the Cavs suck. They're a terrible run franchise, and I can prove it. And the other thing is, if you hate Colin Kaepernick and what Colin Kaepernick stands for, you hate the United States. Yes, I said it. Yes, I said it. And that's actually where we're going to start today on Unafraid, Wrighster or Wrong. Kaepernick is not in the NFL right now. He's not on a team. People have been blaming it on this or that or the other. Michael Vick yesterday, who was dead wrong in saying that first start, the Kaepernick needs to cut his hair. Well, why would Kaepernick need to cut his hair? He's not Michael Vick. He's not the person who went to jail for dogfighting. He's actually a upstanding citizen who is doing something that is literally based upon what this country was founded upon. That's why if you hate Kaepernick, you hate the United States. What was this country founded on? I mean, literally, at its fundamentally, it was a protest against the British government. A protest. It said, we're not standing for what's going on anymore. And that turned violent. They forced the hand. They made it happen. The Civil War. What was the Civil War about? It turned violent about protest. The North no longer wanted slavery. Yes, I know other people will blame it on other stuff, but that was the bottom line root issue of the Civil War. South wanted it. That was a protest on both sides. Neither side was giving in. They went to war. Colin Kaepernick started a protest. People didn't like what was going on in the country. People do not like what's going on in the country. So what are they going to do? They are going to make their voice heard. So the idea that people have that this is disrespecting our veterans, disrespecting our country, disrespecting the flag. When you have a platform, you have to do something that is going to get people's attention. And that's what Colin Kaepernick did. I love our military. I've been around the world to military bases. I love our military. I know servicemen and women who disapprove of what Kaepernick did, but they all say one thing. They say that the fact that the reason why they go fight and they don't mind what he did because that's why they stand up for this country. That's why they lay their life down, that we can have these freedoms, that we have a voice. Other people around the world don't have a voice the same way that we have a voice. That's what this is about. And then those same people who are up in arms about what Colin Kaepernick has been doing, what other players were doing, up in arms about it. Do you know what they said? Do you really realize what you're not doing? We have veterans literally dying on our damn streets every single day. Every single day. You don't lift a finger for that. But you have a problem with Colin Kaepernick. We have veterans committing suicide, can't find jobs, who lay their life down for this country. You don't do anything about that, but then you say, oh, he's disrespecting our military by taking a knee. No, you're disrespecting the damn military by not doing anything about it, by not being a part of the solution. That's where the problem with this whole Colin Kaepernick with me is, where it bothers me the most, is that so many of these people, especially the politicians, people who are on television, people who say, oh, we support our military, we support our country, we love our country. But then we let our young men who go in our service, protect our freedoms, we let them die on our streets here. But you're mad at Colin Kaepernick for protesting injustice against people here in this country. Then you have other people say, oh, it's the way he protested. It's the way he protested. This country was founded on violent protests. He took a non-violent protest. The country was founded on violent protest, and the Civil War was a violent protest. You have to really think about it. Is there a problem when we go protest or anything for women's rights? No. Nope. Some men don't like it, but not a problem. Okay, this is fine to fight for. Gay rights. That a problem to fight for? Nope, not a problem to fight for. Rights of black people. Has that been a problem? Yes. Yes. During the civil rights movement, leaders were killed by the government on some level because they were fighting for rights of black people. I mean, this is not me saying this. This is what a pattern of history says. So when we look at Colin Kaepernick not being in the NFL, this is not about skill level, because he's proven himself a good quarterback. Yes, the last 2 seasons have been a little bit shaky, but we got guys like Blaine Gabbert, Fitzpatrick, Keenum, Osweiler, Sanchez. No problem finding jobs. It's our mentality. When Michael Vick said that he needs to cut his hair, clean up his image, all of this stuff, how can you clean up an image of a guy who's donating millions of dollars and out in the community? His image doesn't need repairing. Our mentality and thinking about it needs repairing. Because what people really want him to do, what the owners really want him to do, and what the public who doesn't want him on their teams, what they want him to do is they want him to crawl back on his hands and knees. That's what they want. They want him to crawl back. And I'm in favor of him not crawling back. But at the same time, I am in favor. I think he does need to speak out. He does need to come on a show and say, you know what? I do want to play in the NFL. Here is what I want. Here's the situation that I want. Because when you don't say anything, you let people paint the narrative for you. And that's what they're doing. Somebody said, oh, he wants $10 million a year. Somebody said, oh, he only wants a place where he could start. All of that. But that may not be true. Let him tell us. And also, I feel like he's missing out on an opportunity to affect change just that much more by giving up the platform. That's just my own thought. Thank you guys for joining me on Wrighster or Wrong. Unafraid. We're going to tackle tough topics every day. And hit the like, hit the share, whatever. Leave your comments. We are in this. Next up, though. So if I told you that there was a company that was in financial crisis, underpaid its best employees, overpays some of his other employees, and then publicly bashes those employees sometimes, the good ones and the bad ones. You would think that that's a poorly run business, right? You would, because it is. That is the Cleveland Cavaliers. That's what Dan Gilbert is doing with the Cleveland Cavaliers. He is a guy who the Cavs are in the luxury tax, deep into the luxury tax. They need more pieces, apparently, around LeBron. They need more help. They need a better roster. but they're deep in financial luxury tax crisis, right? LeBron has been underpaid throughout his whole career. Their GM, Dan Gilbert, was underpaid. He brought a championship, put together a roster on a shoestring budget, underpaid. Owner doesn't want to pay him even market value, not above market value. There are guys who haven't won championships that were paid more than Dan Gilbert was. He didn't want to pay him market value, so he let him walk. When LeBron left the first time, publicly bashed him. I mean, literally like slave mentality bashed him. Like he was his property, like he had the right to, like he owned LeBron James and controlled his career. That's what Dan Gilbert has done. I get he's been a good businessman outside of this, but what he's done with the Cavaliers franchise, he has run this franchise poorly. They're not set up for the future because when LeBron walks out that door, they got nothing. They got Kevin Love, whose career has been destroyed right now. He's going from a 25-12 guy to a spot-up shooter while he still had a lot of career left. So they got a Kevin Love that nobody wants at the salary, even though he's still a really good player in the right system. They have Kyrie Irving, who's probably the best one-on-one player in the entire league, but doesn't really help his teammates score at all. That's what they got. And then they got JR, Iman, a bunch of other contracts that nobody else really wants that are overpaid. That's what they got. They got a lot of debt. They're so far over the luxury tax, it doesn't make any sense. That's a poorly run franchise. The only thing that helps them out is that they have a one LeBron James. That brings me to the next topic about LeBron James. Isn't it interesting that we find him as a sympathetic character? He is the most talented player. Well, sorry, the most physically gifted player, probably in NBA history, in terms of size, speed, strength, mentality, like all of these things. Few people have all those things put together in one package, and LeBron James has the body, has the size, has the durability, all of these things that you need. But we feel bad for him. A lot of people feel bad for him. Man, he needs more help. He just never has enough. He just, you know, I just feel bad for him. You know, he keeps losing to the Warriors. He's lost championships. I feel bad for him. Honestly, I really don't feel bad for the man. I don't. But at the same time, I didn't feel bad for Kobe when Kobe was playing with Smush Parker either. And I'm a Lakers fan. So I didn't feel bad for Kobe either. I wanted the Lakers to be better. But, you know, for me, it's hard to feel bad for the guy who's the best in the world. You got to find a way to get it done on some level. Much is given, much is required. Nobody felt bad for Michael Jordan before he won a championship. Nobody felt bad for him. Nobody felt bad for Karl Malone and John Stockton that they kept running into Michael Jordan. Nobody felt bad for them either. Nobody felt bad for Shaq in Orlando. With him and Penny kept getting hurt. Nobody feels bad. So why do we feel bad for LeBron James? I think part of it is because he is so likable. Like, he is a good person. Like, LeBron James is a person that you want in your corner, in your foxhole when you get in trouble or when you are trying to build yourself up and do something great out in the world. He's a person that you want on your side because he's a good dude. So that's what, so not sure why we feel so bad for LeBron. But guess what though? With the mismanagement of the Cavaliers, they're financially strapped. Can't get out of these contracts. LeBron James is going to opt out to be a free agent after this season. Dan Gilbert, their owner, the Cavaliers owner, is doing what Jerry Krause, the Bulls owner, did to the Bulls organization. He's with Jordan and them there. I get some people blame Jordan for him breaking up. But he was the man that said that organizations win championships, players don't. The Cavs didn't win a championship. LeBron James won the championship. Without LeBron James, insert any other player in the league, they don't beat the Warriors 2 years ago. Look at the Warriors. Their organization has a great culture and all that. You take away Steph Curry, you take away Durant, they got nothing, buddy. They got nothing but a playoff team. So organizations are well run like the Warriors. They fight the salary cap. They draft players. They don't try to do what the Yankees did, not when the Yankees didn't win. They do what they did when the Yankees won. They draft Posada. They draft Jeter. They draft Sandman. They draft their best players, and then they get a couple free agents here and there. That's how you run a successful organization. You can't just think that you're going to go out and free agent your way into championships. It just doesn't work like that. You're going to run into a financial crisis. So when I look at LeBron, I don't feel sorry for him because he's got options. He's hedged against this happening because he knows Dan Gilbert. So he knew he wasn't going to lock into a long-term deal because he might do something crazy like he does, letting Griffin go. So now LeBron James is probably looking at LA and the Lakers, looking real appetizing right now. Looking real appetizing. Got the Summer League MVP. They got Lonzo Ball, 16, 9, and 7. He looks real good. Kyle Kuzma looking real good. Ingram looking real good. Ooh, Paul George might come looking real good. Western Conference will be loaded, but it doesn't matter. Because you got to go through the Western Conference anyway to win the championship if you're in the East. You can be the best team in the East and be the 5th best team in the West. That's the way it is right now. Or you can be the best team in the East and be the 3rd best team in the league. Just like this year, where you had the Warriors, who were the best team in the league, Spurs 2nd best team, Cavs 3rd best team. So I bet you LA's looking real appetizing to him right now because Magic Johnson's running the show. They look organized. They are being prudent. They are being fiscally responsible. They're going to be able to sign free agents. They're going to be able to use their mid-level exemptions. That's the thing that the Cavaliers aren't doing. They had a chance to get Jimmy Butler in a trade. What did they do? Let Dan Griffin go. Then he ends up with the Timberwolves. Yes, they signed Jeff Green, Jose Calderon. Then they used their mid-level exemption money on the Turkish dude that might not even play for him this year or might not have very much value anyway. If I'm LeBron James, I'd be pissed off too. But you knew what you were getting. You knew who Dan Gilbert was. You've already fulfilled the hope, the prophecy, the desire in your heart to bring Cleveland a championship, a loser city in terms of sports, a championship. And you did it. And you did it. So do I feel sorry for you? Nah, because you got options. And then I'll embrace you when you come home to LA next year. Last thing, I saw a few people a little bit upset and a little bit bothered that Lonzo won the Summer League MVP, didn't play in the championship. Mind you, they announced the award before the championship. And then Kuzma won the championship game MVP. Lonzo's good. Time to admit it. I actually haven't heard the haters out in a while. They're quiet now because they're waiting to see what's going to happen in the regular season. They're waiting. They're hoping for his downfall because he's got more haters than LeBron does right now. He has more people. Lonzo has more people rooting for his failure than even LeBron does right now. We've gone over that before. But thank you guys for joining me today on Wrighster or Wrong. I appreciate your time. Appreciate your energy. Please hit those hearts. Like the feed. Share the feed. This is our show. Leave comments. We'll go over. Oh, almost forgot one thing. I promised the guy yesterday that because I sent a tweet to Clay Travis, because Clay Travis was going through this whole thing with his kid having lice on a Delta flight, and he's upset about it. And some people asked a reasonable question. They said, did you catch it on tape? Which I thought was funny, being that he was asking for the video or a picture of LeBron James's gate with the racial slur on it. Thought it was funny. But a comment was made to me. He said, what's up? Oh, he said, you don't see any, because I sent another tweet to Clay about, I said, imagine facing this sort of scrutiny and racism essentially every single day. And the guy said to me, you live in California. What does that have to do with anything? And I thought it would kind of, I mean, that's an argument that plays into stereotypes where people think that just because you live in a big metropolis, or you live in a place that you live in a state that is progressive and all this, that you don't face any of these things. So I told him I would tell a quick story. The story is this, is that, so he asked, how do you face that where you live? Okay. It's not in your face every single day, but you are always constantly aware of how you're perceived and how you're looked at. I'm a big black man, and I've coached some of my son's sports teams before. A few years ago, we're coaching at a league, and mind you, there are white coaches that cuss each other out in the game, cuss the umpires out, do this and that, right? Yes, they may be disciplined or not, or all this, right? I had been coaching there for a couple years. Everybody knows me, good guy, good record, all of this stuff. Then one day I get upset with something that somebody does. I get called into a meeting, like a review board meeting, and they say, oh my God, he said he was threatened by you. He was so terrified and scared. And I'm like, what? I didn't even go off like some of these other coaches go off, but because I'm the big black man, you're afraid. Now everybody's terrified of me. I have no history of this. Some of these dudes have criminal records, but you're afraid of me. Some of these dudes have domestic violence records, but you're afraid of me. So you're always constantly aware of, so you have to manage your reactions, manage things, because you're worried about how people perceive you. That's the story. I have plenty more. I'll give you one more. I live in a nice neighborhood. There aren't a lot of people of color that live around me. When I first started living over here, and I know some other people that live in the Calabasas area, same issue. You get stopped by the police a few times because you don't look like you belong in the neighborhood. They're just checking to make sure everybody's okay. And when they find out that you live there, they're like, oh, okay. Oh, you're good. You're good. Oh, you live around here. Oh, you're not like the rest of them. So you're constantly faced with little things like that. I didn't get arrested, didn't go to jail. The officer was nice to me. But why did he stop me though? No ticket, no infraction. Does he stop everybody else? Because there's real criminals that you miss running around here. They don't look like me. So that's the story. Anyways, Wrighster or wrong, unafraid. Thanks for joining me. See you guys back tomorrow.